Good afternoon and welcome to Today on Bay TV. We are live in Swansea on Tuesday, 9th May 2017. I'm Henry W. Cook and this is Robert Llewellyn-Jones.
And we have with us today that doyen of cinema critics, Mr. Spencer Feeney.
Good afternoon.
And we also have some music from Cathrine Elms. Spencer?
We're going to go to Cathrine first and then we'll speak to Spencer. So take it away, Cathrine.
If you're listening, please take this song as an apology. Here's my heart, it's in my hands. I don't know where else it should be. Yes, there's a lot of blood and veins, but you can see it beat, beat, beat and twitch. Wish the language from my mouth and my body were what I meant to say. Fluent in my mother tongue, of talking the complete wrong way. Do you think I like to stutter, stammer, fall apart, apart, apart every day? I feel them whisper, you don't belong here. Don't they think that I already know? Lot of time and unseen terror to take the steps I take. Tidal wave of thoughts behind every tiny movement I make. Dip your toes into my still waters. I swear, I swear, I swear they run deep. I feel them whisper, you don't belong here. Don't they think that I already know? But I wanna do great things and take to the sky. Ooh, yeah. By God, even if it kills me, I can only fall or fly. Ooh, yeah. I'm tired of waiting for my fear to bleed out of me. I guess this awkward form is the way I'm supposed to be. Maybe one day, I know I can be something more.
What a great way to start the show. Now, Spencer, I believe you've been to see a film entitled Going in Style.
Going in Style, yes.
What's that about?
Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine and Alan Arkin play three former workmates who decide to rob a bank after their old company moves overseas and closes the pension fund that they relied on to pay for their modest retirement. Shall we have a look at a clip?
Yeah, let's have a little look at it.
I think I may rob a bank.
Over there?
I'm thinking of robbing a bank.
Oh, I'm thinking about buying a Ferrari. I just got drafted by the Knicks. Good week for everybody, huh? Good week.
They're taking my house.
You're taking your house and you didn't tell us?
What are you going to do? Lend me money? We're all broke. The three of us combined. These banks practically destroyed this country. They crushed a lot of people's dreams. And nothing ever happened to them. We're three old guys. We hit a bank, we get away with it. We retire with dignity. Worst comes to the worst, we get caught, we go to bed, 3 meals a day, and better health care than we get now.
Wow. So on paper, you've got three great actors in a heist film.
On paper, this film has a lot going for it. 3 veteran movie stars with impeccable acting credentials. And as you saw there, a plot that I think reflects a lot of current anger about the way international companies and banks have treated their customers and their employees, and the way that they put the bottom line and the profit margin above everything else. So on paper, it looks good. On the screen, quite frankly, it's terrible. The comic setups are predictable and limp. The action sequences, such as they are actually, I think, so awful, it's embarrassing to watch them, and you feel embarrassed for such 3 great actors having to go through this. Now, one of the minor characters is a very confused person. Clearly, I think, portraying somebody with early onset dementia. Now, I'm sure that there is a film to be made about Alzheimer's that is both sensitive and thoughtful and funny. But believe me, boy, this film is not it. It's just crass. So really disappointed. I wish that actors of this calibre were involved in a vehicle much more fitting to their talent than this. I'm giving it 1 star, and believe me, I think I'm being generous in doing that.
Is there any positives we can take from it? Michael Caine's acting, Morgan Freeman's acting?
Yeah, but, you know, I like Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine, and I think Alan Arkin is a fantastic actor. But I'll just give you one example that, to me, sort of sums up the laziness of this film. Michael Caine's character apparently worked for 30 years in this New York steel mill. He's got a London accent. But there's no attempt made to explain why that is, that apparent anomaly. It's like, well, we don't really care, you know? And that's the way I felt about the film. So, has it got redeeming features? There are brief moments. There's one good moment where there's a sort of beauty pageant on TV and the 3 old guys are watching it and giving their own alternative commentary to it. And that's a highlight, I think. And if that's a highlight, it kind of tells you all you need to know. But for most of the part, my wife came to watch it with me, and after about 30 minutes, she sort of leaned over and said, should have gone straight to video. And really, that sums it up, you know? So, having said that, there were 3 women sat behind me who laughed right through it and obviously loved every moment of it. So, as always with film, go and make up your own mind. But my advice would be wait till it comes out on DVD and then save your money and buy something better. You know.
In recent years, we've had a lot of these kind of films where we see Morgan Freeman or Michael Caine or Robert De Niro, aging actors, aging classic actors, still trying to make things for, I wouldn't say young actors, but comedy that you wouldn't expect them to be seeing.
Yeah. Well, I saw Michael Caine last year made a film called Youth, in which again he played a retired conductor. Excellent film and a really good performance by him. So I'm not saying the actors aren't up to it in this. I just think the material is beneath them, you know.
Well, is that maybe the case? You've got production houses kind of getting these 3 on board and then going, right, now we need a story.
Well, this is a remake. This is a remake of a 1979 film that starred George Burns and Lee Strasberg. The crucial difference, I think, in 79 when they made this film, and this is to do with the mood of the times, I think, the reason that the 3 old guys robbed a bank then was just for the hell of it, because they were just bored with retirement. So it's quite edgy. This time, the whole thing is justified, you know, by this fact that the company decides to move production to Vietnam and puts everybody out of work, actually chiming in very strongly with the message that Donald Trump was giving in what they call the Rust Belt in America, isn't it? So it's the old film, the 79 film, had an edgy quality to it, and a Devil May Care, which may be fitted in with the mood of the times. This one, picking up on, as you saw in the clip there, sort of the anger about banks and the feeling that the banks ruined the economy in Europe as well as the States and got away with it, and the way companies treat people, treat their workers almost with, it appears to be contempt. They can just
We're going to have to stop you there, Spencer. But you're staying with us to do the newspapers. And that's what we're doing after the break. Spencer's staying with us, and me and Robert are going to look at today's newspapers. Welcome back to Today on Bay TV. I'm Henry Darby-Cook and this is Robert Llewellyn-Jones. Spencer Feeney is still with us. And yesterday was such a busy show, we didn't actually get to go onto the newspapers. We spoke a little bit about France and Macron, but I thought we could go into more depth today. So before we actually jump into the front pages, we've got a great little clip from the events from Sunday night and yesterday.
À l'issue d'une longue confrontation démocratique, vous avez choisi de m'accorder votre confiance. Et je tiens à vous exprimer ma profonde gratitude. C'est un grand honneur et c'est une grande responsabilité. Car rien n'était écrit. Je veux vous dire merci. Je veux, ce soir, adresser un salut républicain à mon adversaire, Madame Le Pen. Je sais les divisions de notre nation qui ont conduit certains à des votes extrêmes. Je les respecte. Je sais la colère, l'anxiété, les doutes qu'une grande partie d'entre vous ont aussi exprimés. Je défendrai l'Europe, la communauté de destin que se sont donnés les peuples de notre continent. C'est notre civilisation qui est en jeu, notre manière de vivre, d'être libre, de porter nos valeurs, nos entreprises communes et nos espoirs. J'œuvrerai à retisser le lien entre l'Europe et les peuples qui la forment, entre l'Europe et les citoyens. Je dis à tous que la France sera au premier rang de la lutte contre le terrorisme sur son sol, aussi bien que dans l'action internationale. Aussi longtemps que ce combat devra durer, nous le mènerons sans faiblir.
Very interesting. Very changing times for France.
A very sober speech, wasn't it? Very measured and reflecting, I think, the difficulties that France has gone through in this election and the difficulties that will continue to face it and the rest of Europe and the United Kingdom in the years to come, I think.
Definitely.
Well, perhaps the threat of terrorism is that common bond that may bring us closer together.
Well, I think
Spencer.
Possibly the threat of terrorism. The fact that immigration is a live issue now right across Europe. And he was touching there again on the anger of people. Going back to what we were talking about earlier with the film I reviewed, this idea that people feel that globalised companies don't care about them, and there's a lot of anger there. Yeah. But I think what's interesting, after Britain voted to leave the EU, some people on the Brexit side were saying that it was foreshadowed what was to come, and right across Europe this would happen. Well, since then we've had elections in Austria, Netherlands and France, and in each of those the anti-EU party has lost. So I think perhaps the expectations of the Brexiteers that where Britain led, others would follow, has been confounded, and that's not happening. And I think Europe is still holding together, but the challenges and threats it faces and we face, I think, are still considerable.
I think something quite interesting about Sunday's election in France was I was watching it and the word fake news was flying about, as always, same as the Trump election. And obviously there was a huge amount of online content saying Macron has done this and he's banking here and all these things to try and put mud on his name. And we're now about to face our general election, and obviously yesterday and today people are calling now for Facebook to take action and police what's put on their website and put on this huge social network, because the thing is, I think we all believe it to be true, don't we? Well, I think a lot of people do.
Well, I certainly agree that social media giants can do a lot more and should spend a lot more money preventing this stuff getting up there in the first place. I don't believe them when they say it's too difficult to police. They don't find it difficult to target all of us with target advertising. Their algorithms work there. I'm sure they can create algorithms that would weed this stuff out. Hopefully people are now more aware that a lot of this fake news is around. I mean, there's always been fake news. I think the big difference now is social media makes it easier to disseminate falsehoods. And of course we do appear to have these outside forces, be it Russia or whatever, who are hacking in to websites and are planting this stuff. And it may be no coincidence that in America and in France and in other elections, the people who have appeared to have been benefited by the hacking have been by and large pro-Putin, and those who have suffered have been anti-Putin. So take from that what you will. Will it happen in our election? I don't know. Is there anybody in our election who's actually pro-Putin? So I don't see how the Russians would gain very much in our election. I think our election has its own issues and challenges and problems, not least the fact that we're about to elect a government without really, to me, discussing the NHS or social care or the economy. The message is it's all about Brexit. Well, it shouldn't be. We're going to have a government till 2022 after this election.
It's a rather frightening prospect, Spencer, to think that we may not have an opposition as such if the predicted landslide goes ahead. And,
yes, it's very noticeable, isn't it, in Wales that Labour is just talking about Welsh Labour and they're only talking about Carwyn. They're not talking about Corbyn at all. And I understand that. And I think the Labour Party will do better in Wales than the rest of the UK. But that's not saying much, is it? Because they do appear to be on course for utter disaster.
I think it's something we're definitely going to talk about over the next 4 weeks, a lot more. But let's go to the front pages, and we're going to start with the Times. And obviously, one thing everyone's talking about is the energy price cap. Obviously, May faces backlash over the price cap, and so this is where she's frozen the investment. Obviously, industries aren't happy with this.
Well, you remember in the last election, Ed Miliband said he was going to have an energy price cap, and the Tories said it was a nonsense idea and rubbished it. And now they're doing it. So nothing's changed. I think it's if it was a rubbish idea then, it's a rubbish idea now.
Robert, why do you think Theresa May's done this and gone ahead with this?
With the price cap?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because she thinks it's a vote winner.
Yes.
Personally. Yeah. This is what it's all about now, isn't it? It's winning votes. It's votes at any price. And I think this is obviously what she feels.
It's hard to see, Robert, how she could lose votes. Well, it's hard to see what could she do between now and polling day that's going to... Her position seems to be absolutely impregnable. And I've never known an election like this where all people are talking about is how big is the majority going to be.
Yes, but is that the thing? Is she just strong because everyone else is weak?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yes, don't you think? I mean, we've had, 7 years now of Conservative or coalition government that's had austerity, cuts, public sector, public services have suffered, and yet the opposition is going backwards. I've never known anything like it.
The best case of a bad scenario, some may put it.
Well, I spoke to our MP for Aberavon, young Kinnock, last night. I met him.
Future leader?
And I said, well, I've just been to see Mr. Ladbroke and asked him what he would give me on you becoming the next leader of the Labour Party.
Yes.
And I think I had quoted 33-1. Yeah. So he said, did you put anything on it? I said, I have indeed. I said, and I'll take you out to dinner on the proceeds of it. But anyway, that obviously they're already thinking about who's going to be an order of succession.
Well, yeah, but
Spencer.
Last time I was here, I said Le Pen would lose heavily, and I'll make another prediction. Corbyn will lose heavily, but he won't go.
That's interesting.
He will not resign, and I think at the moment the Labour Party doesn't have the mechanism to remove him. So I think if you're a Labour supporter, weep now.
Yeah, well, it's the power has moved from the parliamentary Labour Party, hasn't it?
To the membership.
To the membership.
Yes.
And that's probably confirms what you say. Yeah. Yes.
Just quickly, goes to the Daily Mail. Obviously, they've gone with the same story, but giving you real numbers, £100 off your energy bill. And that is, that's very enticing, isn't it? If someone told you they could take £100 off your energy bill, I think you go...
I'd say, look at the small print and don't forget it's a Daily Mail headline.
Exactly.
And the Daily Mail is fairly pro-Tory.
Exactly. Also, if we go to the Daily Telegraph, Mr. and Mrs. May, last night on telly, obviously, they look very posh together, I think. Robert, thoughts?
Well, I don't remember Mrs. Thatcher wearing her hemline quite that high, but obviously this is a new Tory image, and there we are. She seems to have the legs to carry it off.
Good to...
I couldn't possibly comment. You can say that.
No. Well, we don't see them together that often, do we? So it's quite nice to see them in the public eye. Or no, Spencer?
Well, you always saw Dennis was a constant companion to Margaret Thatcher, remember?
Well, after the break, we're going to invite Dafydd Morris to come and join the three of us on the sofa. And do you know what we're trying today, Spencer? Do you know what wines we're trying today?
No, I know it'll be a pleasant surprise.
Are you excited, Robert? You haven't done it yet, have you?
Well, I'm waiting to see. I'm living in hope.
See you then. Welcome back to Today on Bay TV. I'm Henry Darby Cook. This is Robert Llewellyn-Jones. Spencer Feeney still with us, and Dafydd Morris has come to join us from Cheers Wine Merchants. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, David, you've been on your travels again.
I have.
This time to Italy.
Yes, right.
Tell us all about it.
So I've just come back from southern Italy, which is quite a nice region to visit. A lot of people do. Yeah, there's some good photos. It's an absolutely stunning region that's basically unspoilt. So the further south you get, you're almost going back in time. It's absolutely fantastic. So we went down to a town called Brindisi, is where we started off, right down south, right in the heel, if you can imagine the shape of Italy. And we tasted some phenomenal wines, which we've got 2 of them here today. The white actually is from a company that are based down there, but they also make wines from northern Italy. So the white we're going to taste is from a region called Veneto, which is right up north, near Venice and Verona. So I'd like you to, before I tell you too much about it, I'd like you to smell it and then taste it, because it's quite a unique wine. It's a blend of 2 grape varieties. Very sort of fruit salad on the nose, quite almost sweet fruit on the nose. It's not a sweet wine, but it's really fruity. And then when you taste it, you get more of that really fresh, clean fruit and a nice bit of minerality. Now, what will surprise most people is it's a blend of 2 grape varieties. One is called Garganega, which is a very Italian grape from northern Italy. And the other one is Chardonnay. I know Spencer was saying it couldn't be Chardonnay, but Chardonnay's got this persona of being really rich and heavy, and that was the Australian way, and it was very over-extracted and almost, it tasted buttery almost, and it was almost too much to drink. If you make Chardonnay in this way, aged in steel, so no oak aging, grown so it's picked very early and really fresh and ripe, it can give you these wonderful sort of real fruit salad flavours, and I think it's just a great variety that's very misunderstood. And when you taste it in a wine like this, I think, I hope you agree, it's
very clean.
It's really nice, it's fresh.
Clean, fresh taste, yeah. I mean, because you're right, I think, with Australian Chardonnay, because Chardonnay makes Chablis, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And that's very clean, very steely, it's nothing like the big buttery rich Chardonnays you get from Australia, but that is purely down to the way it's treated. And this wine is no oak aging. It's aged with its lees, so the bits of stems and things to get a bit of texture, but no oak aging to give it any butteriness. So it's really nice.
Just to fill in the people at home, we had in the break, we had Spencer for 4 minutes trying to guess the wine. And when he said Chardonnay, the disgust on his face that it might be a Chardonnay.
It's not Chardonnay, he said, knowing nothing.
So a lot of people, so when we do tastings of wines, if it is a Chardonnay along this style, I very rarely tell people, because their instant sort of reaction is to recoil in horror. But it can make a real nice wine.
So I know you've touched on it, but why is there a stigma attached to Chardonnay?
It's just, from the mid-90s, Chardonnay was hammered to death by Australia and a few other countries, over-extracted, over-oak-aged, and you could almost stand a spoon in it. It was oily, it was thick, and it was really buttery. And it was a very popular style at the time. I don't know if you remember it, but thankfully, it's
Are the
fallen away
Australian
now.
producers themselves now moving away from that and making it less oak and cleaner?
There's still a few that rely on it, and they make their flagship wines in that style, and they're really huge. But a lot more Australian winemakers are using this real crisp, clean, fresh style.
I'm not anti-Chardonnay.
It's unusual to taste.
I'm anti those big oaked
absolutely.
Aussie Chardonnays.
Robert, do you want to give us some feedback? It's your first time joining the section.
Well, I'm enjoying this. I'm not a white wine man by preference, but this has been very nice. I agree with you. Very clean, very crisp.
What would you drink it with?
Good with seafish, shellfish.
Yes, I imagine it would be. It would be.
Beautiful.
Yes.
It's got a nice bit of minerality on the finish as well. It's good.
Should we talk a little bit about the pricing point?
It's a tenner. It's $9.99 in the shops, which I think offers great value for money. It's a wine that you can enjoy over a length of time. It's not sort of light enough to drink too quick, so I think it's it's good value for money.
Perfect for the light nights.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, barbecue.
Yeah. If we get the weather for the barbecue, it's perfect. And in fact, the red I bought today is real good with barbecue food as well. So that leads us nicely into the red wine. Now, this is from further south, which is where I've just come back from a region called Abruzzo, which is about 3 hours north of Brindisi, along the east coast. And the coast is stunning down there, nice beaches and stuff.
This is the area that's been hit by earthquakes, isn't it?
It's very near the Apennine mountain range, so they get a lot of earthquakes.
Has that had any effect on the vineyards?
Yeah, they've lost quite a bit of production this year, actually, or last year. But these guys are from a town called Tollo, which is a very small DOP in Italy. And it's the wine's called Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. Now, Montepulciano confuses everyone in Italy because there's two. So there's a Montepulciano you can get from Tuscany, which is called Vino Nobile de Montepulciano. And that is made from Sangiovese grapes in a place called Montepulciano. And then this is Montepulciano d'Abruzzo from Montepulciano grapes, but from a place called Abruzzo. So it's very confusing. Okay. It confuses everyone. Even when we're there, it's quite confusing. But completely the other sides, opposite sides of Italy. So the west side of Tuscany is where Vino Nobile de Montepulciano comes from, and the east side of Italy is where Abruzzo is, and the Montepulciano is a grape, which is what this is. 100% Montepulciano, grape variety. Nice fruit. It's quite rich, quite dark, real good with like char grilled. It's
almost like a smokiness.
Barbecue. Yeah, a nice bit of smokiness. Yeah. It's beautiful with barbecue. And it's grown on this trellis system because it gets really hot there. So if the grapes were left exposed, they'd burn. So they put these trellises up, and basically the leaves are trained to grow quite high, and the grapes sit underneath them, and it just gives them enough shade to sort of develop a bit more naturally, and it means the grapes survive, basically, because without it, they get sunburnt, and there's nothing worse than a sunburnt grape. It's disgusting.
So that kind of smokiness, taste and smell, would that come from the barrel, or a mix of...
It's a mix. So it's the grape variety itself is quite vegetal, if you like. And then it is oak-aged in barrel. I think it's only about 20% of the wine is oak-aged in a barrel, so you get that. It's not overpowering. It's not so you don't get the wood as the initial thing. The fruit is more prominent, but yeah, you get a nice bit of smokiness with it.
And it's
nice
not,
bit of texture.
It's not sort of massive on tannins, is it?
No.
A lot of people find red wine...
So if this was like Bordeaux or something like that with real high tannins, it would suck the life out of your teeth. But this is nice, easy drinking. Well, it's in between easy drinking and full-bodied.
Yeah, as you said, again, perfect for summer barbecues.
It's great wine for barbecues, And to be honest, the red wines I found down in this sort of Abruzzo region and further south were just phenomenal and almost unknown, you know. So
tell us and everyone watching how important it is for you to go and visit the vineyards and visit the families.
So everyone has a go at me for travelling, but it's a perk of the job, obviously, if you enjoy travelling, which I do. But it's vital. I think I've learnt, more being in a winery than I ever could do reading about it, or even just tasting wines in the shop. Okay, you get to know certain wines, but actually meeting winemakers, stood in the vineyard with the guy that makes this wine, the knowledge that you gain from people like that is just, it's unquantifiable for me. I'm off to France tomorrow, so I'll be...
If you ever need anybody to come with you to take notes, I am available.
I get a lot of that.
And I think you were telling me last time, because you go there, meet the family, become friends with the merchants, you suddenly then get a mate's rates, if you will, which you then can pass on to...
It's great. I mean, we can make that call and say, look, if we take X amount, do us a deal. And if they're in the situation too, they more often than not will. This is a tenner as well, actually.
Do you bring it back with you then?
Not there and then, because you have to... It's very tricky to get wine into this country, thanks to duty and all that sort of stuff that you've got to pay. But it's the start of the process, definitely. Yeah, we're just about to import wines from Germany that I went to in December, so that's sort of the timescale that it normally takes. But
we were talking about Brexit earlier. You'll be very much in favour of a soft Brexit. Then.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The last thing you want is tariffs coming in on.
No. Well, we've just been buying euros today, and the rate that we're getting is being hammered. But it's just something we've got to deal with at the moment. But
what was the rate, incidentally?
1.17 today.
Was it really?
Yeah, 1.17. So 6 months ago, 1.35. So 15%. Wiped off the value of a bottle of wine, not through any fault of our own, and that, unfortunately, has got to be passed on.
If there, say, is a hard Brexit, do you then look to the Americas and...
Well, yeah, we're going to have to,
Except, of course, under WTO rules, we can be tariffs everywhere, aren't we, initially, until we get the trade...
South Africa is still great value for money, America's obviously, South America, real good value for money. And I think Australia and New Zealand might scoop up some business as well.
So for everyone watching who would love to try these, where are you based again? And
so we're based in, we've got a shop in Mumbles on Newton Road, going up towards the castle, and our original shop is in West Cross, right at the top of the hill, with great views over Mumbles and Swansea. Yeah, come and see us. And, this is two of our range. We've got about 700 wines. spirits, everything.
And just come in for a chat and get a
Absolutely.
feel for the
There's
party or
always,
whatever they're doing.
A couple of staff there that'll help you out, and well, very few people leave there disappointed anyway. We get people travelling from all over to come and see us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
After the break, Cathrine Elms will be back playing us out, and Keith is going to join us talking about what's on. Welcome back to your final part today on Base TV. I'm Henry Darby Cook, this is Robert Llewellyn-Jones, and Keith Milward has joined us to talk about what's on.
Yes, come to join the party, I have.
What is on? What
is on? Well, it's for this glorious weather that we're having. In the parks, don't forget the parks, so they're lovely at all times. But Clyne is looking stunning at the moment. And down in Clyne Gardens on the Sunday, there are bands because it was the Morriston Big Band on Sunday. And for the next few weeks, this Sunday coming, it's the Swansea Accordion Band there.
Okay.
They'll be playing between 3 and 7. And that's 3 and 5, sorry. And it's all free, it's all free, and you can have the cup of tea, the cup of coffee and cake or whatever.
Will they be dressed in lederhosen?
Oh, it should be, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Don't encourage me now, Robert. But the week after, it would be very interesting, is the U3A Ukulele Band.
Okay.
So, yes, that's the 21st of May, again between 3 and 5. And
Well, what a great way to enjoy the parks as well.
It's really lovely. There were some children there, they were dancing, and there's people of all ages then for us all to enjoy. And with this weather, it's just glorious there.
Any George Formby lookalikes on?
Well, you never know. I'll be looking out next week now. So that's the 21st with the ukulele band. But lots going on in the Grand Theatre. I'm sure you'd enjoy this, Henry. I know that Caitlin here on the crew enjoys Omid Jalili. He's there, yes, in the Grand Theatre on the 10th of May, which is tomorrow. Carpenter's Story is there then on Thursday, and I know that there's a film that we've got.
Should we have a little look?
Yes, that'd be right.
Here it is.
Such a feeling's coming over me. There is wonder in most everything that I see. Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream.
I've got the sun in the sky, sun in my eye. Oh, beautiful, isn't it? She sounds so like Karen Carpenter too, doesn't she?
So is this a tribute or is it a story?
As well. It must be a story.
Okay.
Their story then, Richard Karen Carpenter. And that's not the only place that's making music in Swansea. This Friday, it's the Brangwyn Hall with Remembering Fred, and it's Remembering Fred Astaire.
Okay.
And it's the stars from Strictly. In fact, it's Aljaz and Jeanette from Strictly.
Ooh.
And that's going to be...
We've got a great clip, I think.
Oh, you have?
Should we have a little look?
Yes.
Hello, we're Aliash and Jeanette. We'd love for you to come and see our Remembering Fred show, where we celebrate the life and works of Fred Astaire.
It will be a beautiful evening of song and dance, reminiscing one of the true screen legends and entertainers of our time.
We will celebrate his dance, his choreography, his songs, his sense of style, his poise, his elegance, his favorite dance partners, his iconic films, and what made this man such an icon of the 20th century.
To change, there's some things going on in the Brangwyn then, and the lighter side of music, many classical concerts it goes, but that's up by street, isn't it? With all the putting on the Ritz and...
Doesn't look like Fred Astaire. There's one thing about it.
It's a lovely dancing, though. And
well, that's the beauty of it.
Yes.
If you're a fan of Strictly, obviously you're probably a fan of them, so a great excuse to go and watch it.
I know it's well sold, but there's some good tickets left as well. And down in Llanelli, we've been talking to the director last week of the Hollow. It's Phoenix Theatre, Noel Rees directing, and that's on from Thursday to Saturday at the Furness Theatre in Llanelli. And up in Cardiff, it's Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
This is a favourite of many, isn't it?
Oh, yes. And in Neath this Saturday, winner of Britain's Got Talent from a few years ago, it's Jay McDowell is there, so he's in the Gwyn Hall on Saturday. So lots going on, lots
huge
of us all
amount
to enjoy. You think that it's the end of coming towards the end of spring, going into the summer, but there's plenty going on in the theatres and outside when we're talking about the gardens.
Is there anything going on in Port Talbot at the
Ah, yes. No, there's some one-nighters coming up there. Yes,
right.
So I'll inform you next time we talk about it.
Thank you very much.
Yes, they are on a crest of a wave there. They've just had Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, very successful with Port Albert Amateurs. But I'll inform you next week on what's going on there. But of course, we come to the talking pictures then. What's on between the magazine programmes then on Bay TV. And this afternoon there's a thriller. And it's called Interrupted Journey. It's starring two of my favourite stars from yesteryear. Valerie Hobson. Incidentally, she was the first Anna in The King and I in this country in Drury Lane. Okay. And Richard Todd. And those of my age remember him as Robin Hood. And Richard Todd, and he was with the
Richard Green, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right. He was also in a version of.
Well, yes, Todd was.
Right, indeed, yes.
Shall we have a little look at the clip of today's film?
So that'd be rather nice. Yes.
Here it is.
Coming to Talking Pictures TV from the Romulus Library. Interrupted Journey.
No more lies. Not to me. Lie to anyone else, but not to me, please.
Carol, wait, I must talk to you.
It's no good, John, I know.
Yes, but I've got to talk to you.
Coming soon on Talking Pictures TV. Sky 343, Freeview 81, YouView 81, and...
Thanks for the great information today, Keith.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you to all our guests today and to all our viewers for watching us, especially those who have tuned on for our Talking Pictures afternoon matinee coming up next on Bay.
Thank you all very much, I suppose.
And like Keith said, today is the thriller, The Interrupted Journey. It's the 1949 film starring Valerie Hobson. So with that, all I've got left to say is take it away, Cathrine Elms.
We sank into each other longingly. A kindred spirit, I know he felt it too. His distant declaration serenaded me. And of course I believed, 'cause what else would you do? But in flesh, cold to the touch. So I drove myself crazy looking for a sign, picking through his old words before the sentiment rots. He said he'd call when it's the right time, while my sleeves twisted into vicious knots. And I looked straight into his coward stare. He changed tack, said he couldn't touch back, buzzing in his head or something like that. I said we all have skeletons, trust me, I should know. We can shut the door long enough to let the ivy, long enough to let the ivy grow, long enough to let the ivy grow, long enough to let the ivy grow, long enough to let the ivy grow. His indifference shook me to my core, but left the part that I still adore. I wish he was stronger than letting me go, but mostly I wish my hunger wouldn't starve me so. But I will learn how to fast again. is as old as can be. Blinded by love, but kind of starting to see. And I wish I could pen it poetically, but my clumsy heart, God, it just wants to scream.